The trial between Amber, co-star of Aquaman, and her ex-husband is in progress. On April 13th, which is certainly somebody's unlucky day, her boss where DC is concerned, Walter Hamada, testified and made some very surprising reveals. As it turns out, the head of DC on film wanted to recast her for Aquaman 2, though ultimately she stayed on, and so The Lost Kingdom was filmed with her. But the movie isn't due to be released for another year, and it may soon find itself in need of extensive reshoots. Reshoots that Amber might not be invited back for. In this video, I will begin by going through what Hamada said in his testimony, and I'll even fill in some details he left blank, such as which actress he wanted to replace Amber with, and why it's not at all as unlikely as you may think that the role of Mera could be recast yet. By way of Facebook, Walter Hamada, for the last few years the head honcho of DC on film, made a 3-hour testimony to the court case. Our good friends over at Small Screen went over the highlights, which included that Hamada and other executives were most unimpressed with her performance in the first movie, citing the complete lack of chemistry with star Jason Momoa. Hamada placed the blame for this squarely at her feet, which is a roundabout way of saying he felt she delivered a subpar performance. Here it should be noted that Hamada inherited the first Aquaman movie, so he can't be held responsible for that. But Aquaman 2 is a product of his regime, and he evidently did not want Amber in it. Citing her lacking chemistry with Momoa, Hamada went on to reveal that the studio were in talks with another actress to take over the role, though he did not reveal which one. So, we'll reveal it for you. Since Hamada didn't confirm it, this should still technically be considered a rumor. But the rumor, which we reported at the time, was that the studio were in advanced talks with Emilia Clarke to take over the role of Mera. Emilia Clarke, of course, is most famous for playing Khaleesi, the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones. Her betrothed in that series, Khal Drogo, was played by none other than Jason Momoa. If Hamada wanted chemistry between his leads, he knew he'd get it by pairing the two together again. Audiences would probably have been quite accepting of Emilia Clarke taking over the role, and Amber was undeniably increasingly becoming a liability to the studio. So what happened? Why did they go with Amber for Aquaman 2 after all? According to Walter Hamada, he was blocked from proceeding with the recasting due to pushback from higher-ranking executives at the studio. That's executives in plural. Again, he did not say which executives. But the ones Hamada would have reported to were Toby Emmerich and the since ousted Ansarnov. So it seems likely that at the very least one of them would have been sympathetic to Amber's cause. And we know Ansarnov was instrumental in firing Amber's ex from the Fantastic Beasts franchise. For the record though, what we have always heard from our sources is that Hamada himself also was one of Amber's supporters. But it could be that our sources mistook Hamada merely carrying out the orders from his superiors as him being loyal to Amber, without that really being the case. Then again, this whole testimony could also be about rewriting history, now that the wind is changing against Amber in a very big way. We can't be sure. What we do know though, is that Aquaman 2 in the end was filmed with Amber, although Hamada did point out that she at the very least did not get the pay rise following the first movie that Momoa did, which in my opinion was pretty stupid. Because Hamada admitting that in a legal testimony has the potential to open a whole new can of worms, and give Amber's team a whole new argument of why she is the victim of, well, I guess even more now, that can be twisted and used against her ex. They really should have done that recasting before filming Aquaman 2 though, because if this court case doesn't go Amber's way, her being in it is going to be a PR nightmare for the movie upon its eventual release, as well as for the studio. And from what we are hearing, the new boss of the studio is none too pleased about it. According to our sources, there are two major problems in the Warner Film division that new boss David Zaslav of Discovery fame. is most displeased with having inherited from the previous administration. One is Ezra Miller, who has been placed front and center in 2 major franchises despite having obvious mental as well as mounting legal issues. The other is Amber. Apparently, Zaslav feels the studio should have parted ways with both of them long before things got to this point. But seeing as they are both arguably liabilities, there is no guarantee that either of their upcoming movies will be released in their current states. We'll get back to what this means for The Flash very soon in a later video. But where Amber is concerned, the option of partially reshooting Aquaman 2 for the explicit purpose of removing her from it apparently is on the table. Recasting Mera with another actress at this juncture, after the movie is done filming, would obviously be very expensive, very time-consuming, and could quite possibly lead to the movie being pushed back from its current opening weekend of March of next year. But it could be done, and it has been done before. In November of 2017, Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World was completed and gearing up for release. But then allegations against one of its leads hit, and the decision was made to recast him with Christopher Plummer and reshoot every single scene he was in. Granted, he wasn't the lead of that movie, so the reshoots weren't that extensive. But Eric Stoltz was the originally cast lead in Back to the Future, and nearly the whole movie was filmed with him. But things weren't working out, because while the filmmakers were making a light-hearted adventure comedy, Stoltz was performing a soul-crushing tragedy. And so, in the end, nearly the whole movie had to be reshot with Michael J. Fox, who was the filmmaker's first choice for the role anyway. And lest we forget, where extensive reshoots are concerned, look no further than Joss Whedon's Justice League. The point I'm making is that while no decision has been made yet, retooling Aquaman 2 in order to remove Amber from it can be done. Whether or not it will be done though, according to our sources, very much so depend on how this trial plays out. We'll keep you up to date as we learn more. To make sure you don't miss out when we do, please like this video, hit subscribe if you haven't, and indicate you want notifications on all videos. Thanks for watching, be sure to come back for our Flash video, and let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.